Welcome everyone to our body tune-up class. In this class, should be really nice and relaxed. We're just going to be stretching our muscles, mobility on our joints, and then a little bit of foam rolling at the end. I don't want to say that it's optional, but if you don't have a foam roller, then you really can't foam roll. So if you want to incorporate that part into the session, then I recommend getting a foam roller. And if I may suggest one, I would recommend getting a foam roller such as this one. It's a little bit longer. It's soft. It's not too stiff. It's actually a little stiff, but not too soft. You don't want something where you're just gonna collapse in. And I think I may have around or recently, I think I got rid of some because they're still in their boxes, and I'll show you what not to get if I could find them. Um, yeah, I think I got rid of them, to be honest. Huh. Not sure where I put them. But some of the foam rollers I'm talking about, they're usually a little bit on. They have these funny designs. Sometimes they have these like threads that go around them. Sometimes they have these little like spike looking things. So I wouldn't recommend those necessarily. These are a lot cheaper and you could do more with these and they're not as painful. I believe some folks found these on Amazon. Not sure if it was somewhere between 15 and $25. You could get lucky and find them at Target, maybe even cheaper at Ross. Yeah, and then sometimes what I use too, if I don't want to use something so bulky as this one, because this one's hard to travel with. If you want to travel, I also have like this. It's a little bit bigger than a softball, but it's pretty. You could feel it a little bit. It gives a little bit, so you would just kind of roll this, put it on the floor, and like massage your leg. But yeah, but a ball too. And speaking of softballs, you could use a softball, you could use a baseball, and golf ball to work on some specific smaller areas of your body. So yeah, any questions about foam rollers before we get started? All right, so I'm not sure if I have any students that are just solely in this class and not in any of my other classes, but I'll still go over kind of like the template of these courses. So yeah, so we'll come in, we'll more than likely we'll start with some chair stretches, then transition to some stand-up stretches, very similar to my Wednesday class, floor stretches, and then some foam rolling on the floor. Slightly variation is just gonna be reducing some of the stretches so we could incorporate foam rolling. And as far as recordings or attendance, if you logged in, if you're in here, you're fine. You won't get dropped. If you never log in, you never would hear this message, so you'd be dropped. And if you happen not to be able to make a session, I get the nice emails of reminders that folks won't be able to make it, but they're not obligated. So if you just forget to send an email that you won't be coming on a session, don't stress about it. Just try to get the recording done. And I'll try to post the recordings of the live sessions within maybe a couple hours of when the session's over. So no really assignments, no homework really. If you want to do some extra stuff, I'll have some extra videos posted on the front page. But other than that, I think I've kind of said it all. Don't expect to burn too many calories in this class, which is totally fine. But if you're looking for something like that, then I recommend my other courses. Okay, so any questions before we begin? No questions. Okay, so if you have any requests, if you want to work on a certain muscle group a little bit more, go ahead and be selfish. Point it out on the chat if you want to work on your back a little bit more, or if you want to incorporate a little bit more time on your hip, you could unmute yourself and just shout it, or you could just go on the chat and let me know. Otherwise, we're just gonna do like the full body as usual, but sometimes like my hip last week was killing me, so I wanted to spend a little bit more time on that. So yeah, so just keep that in mind. All right, so let's go ahead. Equipment for today: our chair, our yoga mat, And then if you have, for this class, if you have a small rag or maybe like a loose shirt, if you could grab that too. I want to do some knee stretches with our neck that we didn't do on Wednesday. So go ahead and grab me those items and we'll get started right now. So. Julian's little cousin's here, so I could hear them having a blast. A little loud. All right. So yeah, let's just have that item nearby, the towel or the shirt. So let's go ahead and start by looking just left to right. Just for giggles, I'm gonna see how many calories we burned today. I'm gonna have this under hit. I did go for a run this morning, so my body just in general might still be cooling down. So I may burn a little bit. Just left to right. No, we don't want to rotate our shoulders, it's just our neck. Let's go up and down. So all these movements, if they're active, we want them to be slow, but engage in a lot of range of motion, okay? We don't want them to be sudden. Usually a lot of strains or sprains happen with sudden movements, quick jerks. So we're gonna avoid that. Let's go with neck circles. Yes, I have a few folks with their cameras on. Thank you. Sometimes I feel like I'm by myself and all the screens are off. Switch, which is gentle. Like I said, focusing on our neck a little bit. So sit on that left hand, bring that right hand over, all those elbows drop. Switch. We're sitting on our right hand. So our shoulders fixed, doesn't move. Again, if any stretches cause any pain, just skip them. All right, both our hands right behind our head, and then elbows. Drop them forward, drop them down. Nice. All right, and then this is where we're gonna go ahead and grab our towel or our shirt. I have a sweatshirt here. I just tried grabbing the closest thing I had to myself, but you just need something soft with some length. So yeah, so a hoodie. I have my hoodie here, so I'm just gonna kind of roll it over right here. So I'm using the longest part of, you can see it's the sleeves, the torso's here, and I'm just gonna roll it up. Pretty much, I'm just gonna put that backside here. I'm gonna pull, okay, pull on the sleeves. So if you have a towel, pull on those ends. Hopefully you have a little bit of length. You're gonna pull and then pull forward and up. And you're pretty much just using your hands to guide your head. You don't want to lift your head. Naturally, you want it to be guided. And down. Relax your shoulders a little bit, your elbows. So you want to be pulling forward towards your computer screen and then up. Relax. All right, good. Next, we're gonna go ahead and just pull. We don't, so what we don't want, I'll demonstrate first. What we don't want is just do this rotation here. So you see how I'm bringing my torso is also rotating. You just want to rotate at your head. So we're turning, I'm turning to my right. I'm pulling. Hold for about 8 to 10 seconds. And relax. Okay. Cool. Now turning to our left. We don't want to rotate the shoulders much. And you might find that this one, you have very little range of motion, but we're just warming up for the next one. So just roll with it. And relax. So if anyone feel any tension on their elbow just from pulling, so I feel like my elbows become a little sore. All right, so this is the one that we're warming up to. Okay, so this one, we're gonna go ahead. We have your right sleeve, your left sleeve. So what we're gonna do is my returners know what we're doing here. So right hand comes over, this sleeve comes right at my chin. Okay, so at my chin, and then my other hand comes across, and this one's gonna pull down. So essentially, this one's pulling down, and this one we're gonna pull this way. It's gonna fix the shoulder, and it's just gonna work on the neck. Okay, so pull down here and turn. Get more range of motion. Relax, bring it back. Just let it relax a little bit. All right, so for the next 2 rounds, we're gonna do that 2 more times. Just make sure you're breathing comfortably, deep breaths, and you should be able to get more range of motion there. All right, so right here. Relax. And we're gonna do one more of those. Okay. Again, so yeah, you want that sleeve or that towel just right on that jaw line, right under your chin. You don't want it right on your nose. So, all right, last one on this side. Pull down and pull right. Very good. Right. Good. We're gonna switch sides. So this one, there's been times where I sleep wrong, I sleep at an angle, I sleep with my 2-year-old like right on my shoulder, or 3-year-old, man, he's 3 already. So let's go on that left side. So anytime and relax. Anytime I feel like my shoulder's a little tight, this is usually what fixes it. So again, wrap it around and pull. Nice. We have one more. Last one here. And relax. All right. Should be good for now with this. So you can put your item away. All right. Okay, we're just gonna start working on our alternating between our shoulder and our back. So we'll try to focus a little bit more on range of motion than just holding static stretches. Okay, so we'll do more active stretching on this session. So let's go with snow angels. So yeah, like those neck stretches, if you don't do anything and you just kind of let time take its course, more than likely your neck over time will relax a little bit, but it might take you a week, maybe a little bit longer for that tenderness to go away. But if you're active with it, you could go ahead and speed that up. So I think I would reduce the tenderness on my neck. Let's go ahead, reach up towards the ceiling. I would reduce the tenderness on that area by working on it by a few days if you just do a couple minutes. So I think it's worth it. Keep them up and lean right. Lean and left. And that's all right. Let's go ahead and work on our back. Okay, so we're gonna do our cat scratching pose. So sit near the front of the chair, reach up towards the ceiling, keep that back straight, and bring it down, and pull back. So up, down, pull back, up, down. Repeat. One more. Awesome. All right, very good. Let's go ahead and work on the shoulder a little bit more. Bring that elbow up and then just drop that forearm. I had my wife make me a warm coffee right now, and it's tasty, but it's warm, and this garage is warm, and I just took a shower right after my run, and then now I'm like drenched again. So it might be one of those days where I shower 2 or 3 times. So let's switch. Yeah, Jan knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's when you live, I learned to shower many times when I was in college, when I lived with 3 other college runners, and I had one buddy who would run in the morning, go to class, run in the afternoon, hang out, and then shower right before bed. And then he always complained about these rashes he would get. And and I was just like, I ain't dealing with that. So I think at some point they had me pay an extra few dollars a month because of the water bill. I was like, I'm okay, I'll pay it. I'll shower where I'm comfortable. Elbows here, the wide. Is Really, you're in San Francisco right now? See your backdrop, the Golden Gate Bridge. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Very good. All right, a little bit of chest work here. So just like our underhand front raises, we're just gonna bring our hands here and back. Okay, so I think I told some of you that were with me a couple weeks ago. One of my athletes, she just been running out of her mind the last month of the season. So she wasn't planning on running at the next level. and after her last two races, she started getting recruited by universities. So recently, she went to Cal State East Bay, which is in Oakland up north. So yeah, so let's go with right here. So this is gonna be the Poliquin stretch. So we've done this one before. I like it because it's a complex movement. So hammer curl, elbows out, and then flare them out. Okay, so almost like a dance. Here, it's the new Macarena. So I saw a video somewhere. I think it was on some social media. It had a runner. He didn't know how to dance, but he knew all these different types of exercises and stretches. So that's what he was doing on the dance floor with stuff like this. So some people might think it's a cool dance. Again here. So anyway, so yeah, so she got recruited by Cal State East Bay, by Azusa Pacific, Long Beach State, and then yesterday she told me she's gonna go up north. So super excited for her. Very good. All right, let's go ahead. A little bit of shoulder taps. So hands here. Yeah, it's funny. She's gonna start be getting coached. Her new coach is gonna be um a coach or a runner that I coached on my very last year when I was at Chico. So she's gonna get coached by one of my old athletes, which is kind of crazy. So it's kind of cool. And then my top male runner, he's gonna be joining the UC Merced cross country team. So they're over there by just north of Fresno. And then just some door openers here, or gate openers as my app says. And it's just working on some elbow stuff. Yeah, so hopefully they enjoy it. I told them, maybe sometimes it's not so much about the coaching or the program. Sometimes it's just leaving the nest and growing on their own. So I think some of these kids, if they don't make this move, they might stay home until they're 30 or who knows when. I was like, you guys are gonna grow up so much just by being on your own. So, let's switch. Let's go. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and work on a little bit of back stuff. So just trunk rotation, grab that backrest of your chair. Knees are pointing forward, and just a gentle rotation. We don't want to completely do a 360, just gentle. Man. I could hear Lillian crying right now. Switch. Let's switch. When he doesn't get his way with me, it's always mommy. And when mommy doesn't give him his way, it's daddy. So I hear him. All right, let's start performance stretch. So left heel on that right knee. Oh, that's tight. There's some days where this is an easy movement, and today, what was it? Does anyone have any fun plans this weekend? Jan, you went on a walk this morning, right? No, no, what? That's crazy. You're always walking.
But we took it easy. I walked before Tuesday and Thursday class and I couldn't
Okay.
finish your class.
Yeah.
I need this everyday workout.
Oh yeah, I know. On a Tuesday and a Thursday, that'd be rough, double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, wrong day. Hey, we're gonna go on a 2 week road trip starting tomorrow, so I try to join whatever I can.
Oh, where are you going?
We're going in a counterclockwise rotation to Fresno, Merced, Sacramento, Reno, and then the Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
That'd be cool. Are you
Yeah.
know up in Tahoe?
No, my parents live in Reno. My dad's 90th birthday
Oh
is
wow.
next weekend. So,
It's gonna be a
yeah.
crazy party.
Yeah. So we visit a lot of different
Yeah,
people.
that's super cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, be safe and enjoy and yeah. I won't drop you, don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, so this stretch is gonna stretch out our piriformis, and this is a good one because the piriformis muscle runs right along that sciatic nerve, and if you have back pain, sometimes it's not because of your lower back or your back hurting, it's because that this piriformis muscle that we're working on is tight and it's squeezing on that sciatic nerve. So I really like this stretch, and I feel like it opens up my hips too. So I feel like I get a lot of this one. So let's push down. So is it your first class with us, Lily? Yeah.
Yes, I is my first time.
Okay. Are you from the Bay Area?
I'm from Santa Ana.
Oh, Santana. Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
All right. Have you been to San Francisco?
Yes. Good.
Yeah. I like visiting there. I don't know if I like it to like live there. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope just visiting a time. I don't know, but
Yeah.
no, I don't I never been in San Francisco.
Okay. Yeah, it's when I went, let's go ahead and we're gonna sit near the front of our chair and then just recline back. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. So we're here. Bring that knee to your chest and then just extend. Um, I would go there like once a month, every month for like 5 or 6 years, and I would just go to the clam chowder place, get my clam chowder, and get out of there. Because there's many times we had our team vans broken into. It was just Yeah, it wasn't the first few times was cool, but then after a while, it's just like, all right, we don't need to stay here too long. But um, but yeah, but I like on the other side of the Golden Gate, Marin County, which is not on the city side of San Francisco, but the opposite side. So let's do a leg press motion. See that coastal side is beautiful. Um, and then just south of San Francisco too, towards Santa Cruz, that's really nice too. So uh, I don't know. I guess I just like nature more than the city. So again, just full extension here, press. So when you kick all the way out, make sure you still drop your heel. So we're working on the hip. And then bring that knee here and stretch. Yeah, so again, if you're new to this class, I pretty much just describe this class as if you're putting WD-40 on all the hinges on your doors at home, everything that's squeaky and doesn't move correctly. That's pretty much what we're doing with our body on this session. So we're just trying to make sure that even if we don't work out, if this is our only active class, that at least our body's still moving how smoothly. So after a while, if you don't move your legs or your joints, then you get really stiff. And that's when like just bending over to tie your shoes could be it could be painful sometimes. Or you have like I know I have it now, maybe some of you do, but when I get down to pick something up, it's a little routine. Like I gotta like bend my knee first and then bend at my hips and then rotate here and rotate there and then I get there pain free. But if I try to do it like how I used to or like in a swift motion, I get stuck or I might pull something. So yeah, so we're just trying to work on those things. So all right, we're here. I'm gonna trace back a little bit because we're almost done with our movements on the chair. So let's just do a hip opener. So just bring that right leg here and then just out. We'll do our ABCs on our ankles after this and then some shoulder work, standing. Then we'll finish up with the floor stuff. So these sessions will go 60 to 70 minutes. So just over the hour mark. And then I haven't mentioned, but next weekend I won't be able to have a live session. I'll have a recording. We have a family camping trip. Let's switch. We're going to a campsite near San Luis Obispo out there, and I'm really excited because this is a site that we camped at 3 months ago, but we haven't. It was a bit cold, but we're gonna be camping next weekend, and it should be nice. Um, but unfortunately, yeah, it kind of does interfere with this class alone. So I think we're leaving Friday after the morning class and come back Sunday. So yeah, so next week, like I said, no live session. All right, and then our next one, just lift your heel and then just trace the letters of the alphabet. So just trace the ABCs from A all the way to Z. Okay, so we're just working on some ankle mobility. So you see my ankle moving here. Once you're done with one foot, let's switch. All right, cool. So yeah, like I said, we'll spend a lot of our time on the chair, but now we're gonna go on our feet. So you can put the chair away. Have a little bit of water. If you need a little bathroom break, now's a good time to use the bathroom. Grab a little bit of this coffee. Good. All right. So for this one, you don't need the foam roller necessarily. You could just grab a broomstick. You could grab an umbrella. You could grab a pole, something light for something long like this. So I've used my fishing rod before. So yeah, so if you have an item, go ahead and grab that. Like I said, a mop, a broom, a stick. So we're gonna go ahead and work on our shoulders with this. Oh, give me 1 second. Hey, hi, mama. My niece didn't know. Um, I was working. Come here, Eugene. Okay, say hi. Mira, ahí están. Aquí. That's Gianna. Say hi.
Hi,
Hi, Anna.
what doing?
What are you doing?
What about two? It's right.
Doing? He's busy.
What doing?
We're going to do it. Thank you.
What doing?
They're working out.
Mama, Papa.
Okay. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Come on, Bella.
She ran out, wanted to use the trampoline. I don't know if Julian's around. If Julian isn't crying, come on. Okay. Sorry, there's kids here all the time. Lily, is that your son? All right. So we have our item here. So working on our shoulders. So let's go left to right. Hey. I think Lily's little ones there too. So I try to bring my oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, Lily, so you could grab that stick. Yep. I think the other one you had might be better. The yeah, if you had like yeah, something that's a little bit longer. So now let's focus on that left shoulder. So you're just gonna bring that. So you're using your bottom hand to kind of guide that left shoulder. So this hand right here is just kind of hanging on and going for the ride. Okay, so let's go 30 degrees forward, so slightly forward. So I'll go side angles. So I'm like, you see, I'm slightly forward here. All right, now 60 degrees, a little bit more forward. Now 90 degrees, so now we go straight front, okay? So that left shoulder is getting full range of motion forward. Now we're gonna go back. Okay, so now this is the active one. So now I'm pushing down and back. Okay, so that left shoulder is getting some mobility in reverse. All right, let's go on that right shoulder now. So we're gonna switch. So now the left one is guiding the right shoulder. So again, all my work is going on my left hand. I'm just pushing. Our shoulders don't just move to the side and forward, they move at all angles. So just want to make sure we make them work. All right, let's go 30 degrees. Let's go 60. We'll do about 10 of each and now forward. Okay, so now that right shoulder is coming forward. All right, very good. Just relax a little bit before the arms get tired. Okay. Okay, we'll come back. So again, now it's right shoulder we're working, we're bringing it back. So again, that left hand is pushing. All right, and then now we're gonna go behind the back. Okay, so behind the back here, and then up and down. So so we're just lifting. 8, 9, Okay, and then now we're gonna lift. This is usually where my shoulder pops. Okay, so from here we're gonna just lift it. Whoop, there's the pop. Okay. And that should do it for this movement here, okay? All right, I do want to work a little bit on some stand-up stretches that we usually don't do. Okay, so this one's called, I'm not sure if some of you have heard of the IT band, but IT band is a muscle that goes from your glute, long tendon that wraps right under your knee. So sometimes when you get knee pain, it's not so much because the issue's at your knee, it's because this muscle is really tight and it's pulling on this long rubber band on your knee. So the way we're gonna work that out is right foot in front of your left. We're bringing it here, and then you're almost gonna stick this hip out and lean forward, okay? So again, your hip goes out that way and you go forward this way. Just kind of, and you almost just kind of have to like wiggle like your hips so you find that angle where you feel the stretch a little bit more. You might
Julio,
feel-
where and on which leg and where are we supposed to feel this stretch?
So you're gonna feel it. You should feel it on your right side. So that right leg comes over, your hip goes out. So this leg is getting, this muscle is getting stretched out. So not feeling it.
I'm feeling it on my opposite side.
Opposite.
Yeah, me too. I'm feeling it on the left, so there's something wrong.
All right. So yeah, so if you're going right and then see,
I
I
feel
feel-
it on the left.
okay, as long as we're feeling it, so the foot positioning, so because the main sensation is supposed to be running through here. So and so just hold it
Yes. No.
and then switch. Yeah, there's some vague stretches that sometimes you feel it on the opposite. Sometimes your muscles might just not, they might be relaxed enough that it's tough to feel some stretches. But as
I-
long as we're feeling a sensation there, we're okay. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead, work a little bit on balance. I know we had our balance class yesterday, but let's just do our quad stretch. Grab a hold right above your ankle and pull back. You could always hold on to something, a chair, a wall. Okay, so when you hold on this one, make sure you hold above the ankle, not on your foot. If you hold on your foot, you could really hurt your tendons on your feet. But just hold right above your ankle. We'll switch. All right, I'm gonna do the hamstring stretch, the hamstring pump. So for this one, remember, grab your ankles, come down right here, just grab your ankles, wrap your glutes to your heels, and then just kind of expand. And so again, you're holding your ankles the whole time, and then you're just extending at the knee. Oh man, when I was doing that this morning before my run, it sounded like the microwave was making popcorn. That's how my knees felt. So again, just drop, your glutes down, extend. One more. All right. Okay. Just big hula hoops, and then we're gonna drop down to the floor for our floor stretches. So this big, giant hula hoops. So just exaggerate, just moving your hips into big circles. The biggest circles you can make with your hips. Does anyone else have any fun plans this weekend? Switch? Jen, are you going staying at hotels or RV or anything like that?
Combination, hotels and friends and relatives.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Awesome. Driving like 4 or 5 hours each day?
yeah, no more.
Yeah. All right, very good. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our yoga mat. And if you have a foam roller, go ahead and have that handy because we'll be using that right after. So grab your yoga mat. And if you don't happen to have a yoga mat, you can always just lay out a towel. But obviously, if you have a towel floor or something hard, it's gonna be a little bit maybe uncomfortable. So I'm using this tablet. It's like a tablet laptop thing, and I've had it since 2016. And yesterday, after class, I kept it on for about an hour, and it started blinking a lot. So I'm gonna try and make sure that it doesn't overheat again. So I'm probably gonna turn it off right after we're done with this class. So. All right. Cool. That's some of my favorite stretches here. All right, so we're belly down. And we are on our elbows, okay? We're just here hanging out. And just a light stretch on your back. So this is all we're doing. So going from like the flat position to just resting on your elbows. And get a little stretch on your lower back. So yeah, I think I mentioned it yesterday. When you exercise, you still burn quite a bit of calories afterwards because your body's still trying to cool down. And I'm almost at 190 calories right now. And I'm just stretching. So explains why I'm kind of sweating though. Okay. So now from here where your elbows are, that's where we're gonna place our hands. So put your hands right there where your elbows are and then cobra stretch. So push up. Okay. That painful. If we don't have that range of motion yet, then try to do whatever you can that doesn't cause any pain. So if you're bent a little bit, just go for that. But if you're able to fully extend, do that. Okay, from here, we're gonna go ahead and bring your glutes all the way to your heels. Okay. And then let's bring it back. So we're doing some mobility. And then up here. And then again, glutes to heels. And back to that quadruped position. And back to your heels. Quadruped position. Heels. All right, and then from here, I want you to bring your right leg, bring that foot close to your hand, okay? So bring it right here. So you saw how I did that, so I came from that original position, Just bringing my right foot. And then I'm gonna try to just kind of surf back and forth. I attempted to go surfing once. And I was gonna say this is just like surfing, but I'd be lying if if I made that statement, just because I remember getting on that surfboard and I kept falling off, so I'm not getting any surfing experience from me. Reset that leg. Okay, so bring that knee back down and let's switch. So left hand and left foot kind of connect. Okay. And you might find one leg or one side is a little bit stiffer than the others, but again, we're just kind of shifting back and forth. Very good. Right, so we're back to our quadruped position. So on our fours. So if you hear me say quadruped, I usually just mean this position. Make sure your wrists are right below your shoulders, your knees are right below your hips. This isn't a quadruped because our wrists are not aligned, so we have to be right under, okay? All right, we're gonna go with cat cow. So remember cat cow, we're gonna inhale for that cat position. And then exhale, bring your belly down, suppress, and that's the cow position. You're holding each stretch for about 3 seconds. So go at your own pace and begin. So inhale, exhale. And make sure you're looking down the entire time. Anytime we're working out your back, you really don't want to be moving your neck side to side. You're just asking for an injury at that point. So okay, from here, we're gonna go ahead and shift our hands to the left. So now my hands are outside my yoga mat. Okay, and once you're there, I'm gonna do the cat position. So arch up. I'm gonna keep that arch and bring my glutes back. Okay, you should feel that stretch on the right side of your back or by your ribs. So just hold it there. Reset. And now we're gonna go to the right side. So now just kind of shift your hands to the right. Once you are there, arch. Keep that arch and bring your glutes back. Reset. All right. Very good. All right. We'll go with some book openers. Okay, so book openers, and then we'll start with the foam rolling, okay? So book openers, this is a nice stretch for your back too. So we're on your side, tuck in your knees a little bit. So your knees on your knee, your foot is on your other foot, and then your left hand is on your right hand, okay? So from here, let's go ahead and open up. Reach back and repeat. And let's go ahead and continue that. Four. Five. 6. 7. Awesome. I'm gonna switch sides. I think my screen is acting up again. I hope not. Okay, so we're here, right hand on top of your left. And go. 1, 2. 3. I'm doing 8 of these. 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8. Awesome. All right, folks. So if you have a foam roller, go ahead and grab that. Okay, because we're going to be using that now. If you don't have a foam roller, you're more than welcome to stick around and kind of see what's going to be done. Probably going to spend about maybe 6, 7, 8 minutes doing this. So yeah, just go ahead and grab that and we'll get started. But yeah. All right. So if you have the larger one like I do, you could maybe do one that I really like, and this would be where you sit on the very bottom of it and you kind of just recline back and you just kind of hang out here so your palms are facing up and you're reclining. So again, you can only do this one if you have a longer one. Okay, so we're just gonna hold this. Usually you want to hold for about 2 minutes. And again, this is gonna just stretch out your chest, relax your arms, your shoulders. And we're gonna roll off since we're just starting with this one. Okay, and then we're just gonna go with our legs now. So usually, depending on the tenderness of your legs, what we want to do is we're gonna work on that left calf. So I'm gonna elevate my hips off the ground. So the only contact going on with the floor are my hands, my other foot, and my calf that's floating. So what I want you to see, I'm gonna go with this angle here so you can see my foot. So my foot just doesn't stay straight. I'm gonna rotate it, okay? So when I rotate it, it's also getting different angles of my lower leg. Okay. Okay, we're gonna switch. So I'm gonna go with my right leg. Okay, very good. All right, now I'm gonna go a little bit higher. And I'm gonna bring the whole foam roller. So again, this is why I say the longer ones are better because some are about half this size. So you're gonna be right using it completely. So on this one, they're resting, my thighs are resting right on the foam roller, and I'm just gonna slide back and forth. Okay. When you're foam rolling or getting a deep tissue massage, just remember the goal isn't necessarily to cause pain or if it doesn't hurt, you're not doing it good enough. So it's not like that. You just want to make sure that you're providing enough of a contact that it's going to promote blood flow to get to that area. Because new blood flow means more nutrients to that area, which is going to speed up recovery. And same thing, you could roll your toes in, roll them out. Yeah. All right. And then the last one we're gonna do is you're gonna be on this kind of like face down position. And you're gonna put it on your inner thigh. And now you're just sliding back and forth. Yeah, so foam rolling is mainly gonna be when it's self-massaging, mainly on the legs. So again, so if you saw it here, so it's just laying across. I'm laying my knee right over it. So yeah, so it's mainly for your legs. Any other type of massages, yeah, you might need a partner, or like the ball I had earlier that I showed, you could use that on the wall and that could benefit you for your back. But yeah, but it's hard to do that with like a cylinder foam roller. And then let's switch.
No, 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 don't do that. No, stop.
All right, ready? This is our last one, and then from here we'll head on out. And then again, just a reminder, next week, I'll have a recording. So yeah, you pretty much have 2 weeks if you want to get a foam roller. Amazon has these. I think I got this one on Amazon. All righty. And that should do it for today. Let me get this. Jan, you have one?
Amazon Basics.
Oh, there you go. Is that one of the longer ones?
Yeah,
Okay. Remember what you paid for?
no, but it was very reasonable.
Okay, so there you go, everyone. Amazon, you could find it. So, let me end this recording. And I have a quick